everyone. First of all, sorry for this. I'm really poorly at the moment, and hence why it's allowed to wear a onesie all the time. I'm currently a giraffe. Yeah, I am. You can see because I totally have a hood, and it has ears, and I have a tail. This is amazing stuff, right? And when you live in the UK, where it's cold and rainy all the time, it makes it allowed to wear a onesie, particularly when you're unwell like me right now, which is hence why my face is a bit of a mess. So I apologise. And my hair. It's totally been brushed. Anyway, back to the video. Right, my video today is about the moral and ethical judgments we make when we are in recovery. And I mean this to do with certain food groups and certain where our food comes from. I'm mainly talking about being a vegetarian or a vegan in recovery and what this means for us and the decisions that we have to make. Basically, I have been a vegetarian since I was 12 years old after I saw Babe, and I got distraught by it. And since then, I've become a vegan for about 8 months. And the reason I want to make this video is because sometimes our eating disorder can trick us. We all know that it's a lying bastard, basically, and it will do anything for us to be able to be like, hey, look, I'm doing great, I'm doing really well, but still we have to restrict our food and control our food and where it comes from, what it is, and that is what sometimes being a vegetarian or a vegan gives to you. It is restrictive. Obviously, it's restrictive, and it can give us that sense of control, and it can be a way for us to restrict and be scared of certain food groups. You really have to listen to yourself and think, is this my eating disorder talking to me, or is this my own moral judgment? Because I went vegan a few years ago when I was in a very eating disordered state. I hadn't really thought about being vegan before, but it was my way to be like, oh, this way I can't have dairy, because I was terrified of cheese. And that was like my biggest fear food was cheese, and I thought if I become vegan, I don't have to consume this, and everyone will think it's fine because they'll just assume, oh, she's vegan, it's fine. When actually it was driven by fear. It was driven by this big, immense fear for dairy, and mainly cheese and milk. So it's something that I was always conscious of, because that made me very, very ill to make that decision, because if you're going to make this decision, you need to make sure you incorporate all the food groups that you need to into your diet. And that meant nuts, pulses, tofu, soya, all the ways I can get my calcium, my good fats, my protein, my carbs, everything in. And that meant I have to be very conscious to make sure I get them food groups in. And I was being frightful of things like nuts and things like that. It just made it impossible. My diet was completely restricted, and I got very mentally and physically ill from this, not just regarding weight, but my immune system, everything sort of fell to pieces, really, and it made me very sick. So what I think you need to do is sit back and really listen to your mind and your body and your eating disorder, and try and distinguish, because you're allowed to be a vegetarian, you're allowed to be a vegan, you're allowed to eat meat or just eat fish or whatever you want to do. That's your choice. I'm not preaching. Absolutely your choice. But you need to make sure that you can do whatever diet that you choose to follow in a healthy and sustainable way, a way that actually gives your body the minerals and the nutrients that you need. And that's quite easy to say, just listen to your body, listen to your eating disorder, because your eating disorder can sort of merge in, and it can weave its way in and lie to you in every single way. But really to take a step back. And the second point I wanted to make, try and do this as quickly as possible, because I always end up doing really long videos, is that you sometimes have to put your morals on hold. I know a million vegans out there right now are probably going to be chasing me down the street, but sometimes it's so important to actually just listen to where you are, and listen to the doctors and professionals that are talking to you. And you know what? You can make all these decisions once you're recovered, or once you're in a later stage of recovery. You don't need to make them right now. My body needed meat. As a vegan, that sounds really weird and foreign for me to say, but I needed a high level of protein. I'd eaten away so much of my muscle, and I was really deteriorating my body, that the quickest way for me to get protein was meat. In hospital, I could not get all the protein that I wanted from the pulses and things like that. They can't accommodate for that. That isn't even an option in hospital where I was. And eating meat was a good way for me to really refeed my body and get it to a really healthy state. And I knew that once I had got to a high level of recovery, I could then sit back and make the moral and ethical judgments. I think health needs to come first. And I know there are lots of really healthy ways for you to be a vegetarian and vegan when you're in recovery, but you need to make sure you're doing it properly. I couldn't, because I knew that I would really struggle with fitting things like nuts and seeds into my diet, because they were some of my fear foods. I knew that that would be almost impossible for me. it would be very, very restrictive and very challenging, very hard. And I knew that I had to wait until I was at a healthier state of mind to be able to actually make these decisions. And you know what? I'm really glad that I did wait and I did listen to my body and listen to professionals, because now I can make the sort of decisions to be vegan and do it in a really healthy way. And everyone who knows me knows that I have nuts every day, seeds every day. I do have all the food groups I need to have, and I'm very, very conscious and aware of them. So I was thinking about doing a sort of showing you what I would eat on a daily basis as a vegan, or sort of alternate, make sort of a vegetarian choice as well, just to show you what you would actually need if you are thinking of this decision, or you are a vegetarian or a vegan in recovery. I just think if you think this would be helpful, please go ahead and just send me an email and I'll make sure that I do this, because if I want to do the videos that are most helpful for you. But I know this is something that I really struggled with. I really struggled with this whole health and morals balance, and I felt so guilty for eating meat, because it was a very foreign concept for me, and it was something very, very different for me. And I knew that it was really important for me to be who I am as well, because being a vegetarian, animal rights, all things like that, it is a massive part of who I am, and it's something I'm very passionate about, and it makes me me. It does. It makes me who I am, and that's allowed, and that's okay. And I'm really glad that I'm now here to be able to make these choices and make these decisions with a sound state of mind. So basically that's all I have to say today. So just look after yourselves, please. If you are a vegetarian or a vegan, look into what you're meant to be having on a healthy day. Even if you're not, look into what you're actually meant to be having, because it's very, very easy for us to get distracted and lose focus and forget what a real diet looks like, what we meant to eat. That can be really difficult. You know what? I'm going to post some things below for you to be able to look and be able to see what is a good diet, whether you're a meat eater, pescatarian, vegan or vegetarian, and sort of so that you have an understanding of what it is you should be having in your diet. What is expected of you? What are we meant to be having in recovery? Because you know what? When I was sick, I forgot what a dinner looked like. I did. I forgot what a breakfast looked like and a lunch. I was just like, what do people have? It seemed completely foreign to me, and I just couldn't remember. I couldn't, and it was such a foreign thing for me. So I think it's really important to sort of touch this sort of base and get an understanding again of what it is we are meant to be having in recovery. So much love to you all, and I hope I get better soon to be able to do a better video where I'm actually a little bit more with it. I'm terribly sorry. Alright, much love to you all. Alright, bye.